You're listening to the Agentic Executive, intelligence briefings for high-leverage operators. In 10 minutes or less, you get clarity, priority, and direction, so you can make sharper decisions and stay ahead of the curve. Today's brief: why most AI use is just expensive tinkering, and how an executive agent stack turns one decision into 10x output.
If you're like most senior operators right now, you've got a handful of AI tools open in different tabs and no coherent system. You get clever outputs, but not compounding leverage. That's the gap we're closing today.
Let's name the problem clearly. Random AI usage gives you moments of cleverness. An agent stack gives you a repeatable decision machine around your judgment. That's a different category of asset.
And to be very clear here, when we say agent stack, we're not talking about some sci-fi 100-bot maze that only your head of research understands. We're talking about a small, deliberate set of agents that surround a single decision and support you end to end.
Exactly. Think of it as infrastructure for your judgment. You stay in charge. The agents just extend your reach. Clarity is leverage, and we're going to show you how to encode that clarity into your AI setup. Let's define the executive agent stack in plain language. One simple model. 3 layers. Sense, synthesize, decide.
Sense is about inputs. What's happening in the market, in your operations, in your pipeline. Which signals actually matter for the decision in front of you, and which are just noise.
Synthesize is about structure. You take those signals, compare options, surface trade-offs, and see second-order effects. It's where you move from a lot of information to a few clear options.
Then decide. That's where agents help you frame the decision, stress test your assumptions, and capture your reasoning in something like a memo or a one-pager. This is where your judgment is front and center, but it's scaffolded, not improvised.
The key distinction: in a stack, these layers talk to each other. Sense feeds synthesize. Synthesize feeds decide. You're not pasting random prompts into random tools. You're running a lightweight, repeatable process wrapped around one decision. Let's go layer by layer, starting with sense. This is where most executives are either overwhelmed or blind.
Sense agents answer one question. What should I be paying attention to right now for this decision? Not in general, not in theory, for this specific call you're about to make.
Practically, a sense agent might be set up to do things like pull recent customer feedback related to the product you're evaluating, scan competitor announcements, or summarize the last 6 months of internal performance data against the KPI you care about.
Notice what's missing there. It's not trying to read the whole internet. It's scoped. The system reveals the truth when you constrain it. You define the question, then the agent collects only the signals that matter to that question.
If you're using, say, a general-purpose AI with access to your docs and the web, a sense agent is essentially a saved, structured workflow. Same question each time, same sources, same filters. No heroics, just consistent, structured sensing. Now, synthesize. This is where most of the leverage actually shows up, because this is where you stop hoarding inputs and start doing comparative thinking.
A Synthesize agent takes what Sense collected and says, in effect, okay, so what? It clusters themes, compares scenarios, and calls out the real trade-offs. You get something closer to a decision brief than a raw data dump.
Examples. You might have an agent that builds a simple pros and cons table across 3 options, or one that maps each option against your constraints: cache, headcount, timeline, brand risk. Or one that explicitly asks, if this goes well, what happens? If it fails, what breaks?
This is where patterns create power. When your synthesize layer is consistent, you stop reinventing your thinking structure every time. You get comparability across decisions. You start to see how you actually trade off risk, time, and upside.
Finally, decide. This is not about delegating the decision to an agent. It's about forcing your own reasoning into the open.
A decide agent can walk you through prompts like, what are we actually deciding in one sentence? What are the non-negotiable constraints? What assumptions must be true for this to work? How will we know in 90 days if it was the right call?
Then it captures your reasoning in a simple decision memo. Not a novel, not a deck. 1 page. Context, options considered, chosen path, rationale, risks, and next checkpoints. That artifact is knowledge capital. You can revisit it, audit it, and train future agents on it. Let's make this real with a worked example. Imagine you're evaluating a new product initiative, and you want to go from vague idea to a confident go or no-go in under 48 hours.
Say you run a B2B SaaS company, and someone on your team proposes a lightweight analytics add-on. Feels exciting, customers have hinted at it, but you don't want a 3-month exploration just to say no.
Layer 1. Sense. You spin up a sense agent with a tight brief. Collect and summarize all customer feedback, sales notes, and churn reasons in the last 12 months that mention analytics, reporting, or dashboards. Pull top 3 competitor claims in this area. And give me a quick read on engineering effort based on existing architecture docs.
Within an hour, you've got a summarized view. How many customers have actually asked for this, what they meant by analytics, where competitors are strong or weak, and roughly how invasive this would be to ship. That's your sense layer done.
Layer 2. Synthesize. You hand that bundle to a Synthesize agent with a new brief. Compare 3 paths. Don't build. Build a minimal version. Build a full-featured analytics suite. Map each path against revenue potential, implementation effort, and risk to core product quality. Highlight key second-order effects like support load or sales complexity.
Now, your output looks like an internal strategy note. 3 options, clear trade-offs, risk flags. Maybe you learn that a full suite would slow your roadmap by 6 months, but a minimal upgrade can unblock 3 large deals already in pipeline.
Layer 3. Decide. You engage a decide agent and walk through a structured dialogue. It asks you, what are you actually committing to? What outcome are you buying with this decision? What's the reversible versus irreversible part of this choice?
You might end up with a memo that says, in plain language, we're not building a full analytics suite. We will, however, ship a minimal add-on targeted at current enterprise pipeline with a 90-day checkpoint. Success is defined as closing at least 2 existing deals, plus no significant increase in support tickets.
All of that, sense, synthesize, decide, can realistically happen within 48 hours without a special task force, because the thinking structure is pre-built. The agents are just running the playbook. Now, Common failure modes, because this is where smart people quietly blow themselves up.
First failure mode, over-automation. You try to automate the judgment instead of the scaffolding. The moment you ask an agent to just pick the best option, you've quietly outsourced the part only you are qualified to do.
Second, tool sprawl. You bolt on 6 different products, each with its own prompts, logins, and formats. No shared structure. No interoperability. Suddenly, the system has more overhead than the decision itself.
Third, novelty over strategy. You keep chasing new capabilities instead of hardening one small, boring stack that reliably improves your next decision. Precision drives agency, not endless experimentation.
To avoid these, constrain yourself. Start embarrassingly small. 1 decision. 2 or 3 agents. 1 shared structure. Sense, synthesize, decide. So here's your action step for the next 24 hours.
Pick one important decision that's already on your plate this week. Not theoretical, something you actually have to answer. Maybe it's a hire, a product bet, a pricing change, or a go-to-market move.
Design a minimal 2-agent stack around that decision. Agent 1, Sense. Define a tight brief for what it should collect and from where. Internal docs, CRM notes, recent emails, a few external sources. Agent 2, Synthesize. Define how it should compare the top 2 or 3 options and what dimensions matter.
Then, even if you don't build a full Decide agent yet, force yourself to write a 1-page decision memo using the outputs. That's enough to feel the difference between random AI usage and a deliberate agent stack around your judgment.
Once you've run that play once, you can refine it, reuse it, and gradually harden it into part of your operating system. 1 stack, 1 decision at a time. Make your next move count. If this was useful and you want more 10-minute briefings on building agentic leverage into your daily operations, follow or subscribe to The Agentic Executive in your podcast app. That way, you don't have to go hunting for the next playbook. It shows up automatically.
And if you know one operator who's drowning in AI tabs and starving for structure, send them this episode. Give them a language for what they're trying to build.
You're building systems that extend your judgment, not replace it. Clarity is leverage. Stay agentic.